Hello girls, guys and non-binary pals, I'm Salmon and this is my channel, Jolly Salmon. I'm a cosplayer from Poland and I make videos about cosplay and sustainable living. This week we're going to talk about wigs. This video is the first part of my wig series in which I would like to answer all of your questions about wigs. Last week I covered my favorite wig styling tools and now I would like to tell you the basics of wigs. Today we're gonna learn what is a wig, how do you wear a wig, where do you buy wigs, how do you care for a wig, and also how do you know your wig is good quality. I hope this video helps you beginner cosplayers get into wig making, wig styling and wig wearing, which can be daunting, but don't worry, everyone's been through it. So first up, what is a wig? A wig is an accessory that cosplayers don't have to, can wear in order to resemble the character more. If your hair resembles the character already, for example, you have it dyed or you have it naturally curly or naturally blonde, you can cosplay your desired character without having to wear a wig. But wigs are very useful for cosplayers because they don't act like normal hair. They look better in photos and they can be kept in the same hairstyle easier. So because not everyone has those beautiful blue ponytails of Hatsune Miku, wigs can be used. A wig consists of a cap or a net that can look in many different ways. There is a laced one, universal one, and a party box one. There are also lace front wigs which have a lace part in the front of them in order for it to blend easily with your skin and to look more natural. It's very useful if you want to make updos that have a lot of hairline visible and not covered by fringe, for example. There are also wigs that are full laced or that have the top made out of lace, and they can be styled in more natural ways than lace front ones. They are used in theater and opera productions and they are a lot pricier than your regular wigs. A wig consists of a cap and wefts. Wefts are a strand of hair connected together or tied onto a little piece of fabric or glued together or sewn together, and they are sewn into the cap in order to create a full head of hair. Those wefts can be in any length, in any color, and also in any finish. Here you can see some wefts that I made myself with some hot glue. In my recent video explaining where to buy cosplay supplies, I mentioned some of my favorite wig stores to buy from. Those are sites like Wigs Fashion or everydaywigs.com or Email or WoWo Cosplay Buzz, Roll Cosplay, Castle Wigs, any of those. You can learn more about where to buy cosplay supplies from this video here. But how do you actually know if your wig is good quality? Usually, the higher the price, the better the wig, unfortunately. But there are a lot of affordable wigs that are very good quality. For example, from one of those stores that everyone seems to be talking about. But if you're buying secondhand or from AliExpress, you might want to seek for wigs with this type of cap. It's usually easier to see if wigs with this type of cap are full of hair and thick, and you can see if the wefts are sewn close together. It's a great sign if a wig also has a net inside of it, anchoring the wefts inside and keeping them sewn into the cap, like this. You might want to stay away from wigs with caps like this, because they're usually not that thick and also might not be good for people with a lot of hair or with big heads. However, most good quality wigs do have size regulation on them, and it looks like this. It's those little bands with hooks that you hook onto those loops and make the wig smaller or bigger according to your head size. Okay, you bought a wig, now what? How do you wear a wig? I will show you two of the ways you can wear a wig and a wig cap. The first way is the one that I usually use, and it's kind of the lazy way. I use it whenever I have to put my wig on very quickly and for a short amount of time. A wig cap is a small net that contains your hair, and it's usually added as a freebie to most of the wigs. There are dark wig caps and light wig caps, and there are also sock light wig caps and fishnet wig caps. You can also make your own wig cap. I'm sure there are tutorials for that. You put your hair in a low ponytail and then you put the wig cap through your head. Then you need to find the bottom of the wig cap. It's the broader border on the wig cap. You have to align it to your hairline. Don't think about your ears yet, it just has to cover your hairline. Now you try to flatten your hair against your head. You can take off the hair tie you tied your hair with, but you don't have to. Most of the time you can't even see the bump on your head where your hair tie is left. But if you're bothered by that and want to flatten out the hair as much as it's possible, you can take your hair tie off. And that's how you put a wig cap on. You free your ears and then you can put on your wig. I like to flip my wigs upside down, finding the front and back and using the front as a guideline in order to wear my wigs. I put my forehead and hairline against the front of the wig and just do a flip. Yes, that's what I do. I flip all of my wigs gently if they are styled, but that's how I wear most of my wigs. Then you can use some combs that are sewn into some of the wigs. Sometimes there are clips, you can use bobby pins, you can use other clips. You can secure your wig with glue, you can secure it with wig tape. Any way to secure your wig is a good way. You just have to experiment a bit and also see if it's even necessary, because some wigs are light enough that they don't slide off your head. If you're gonna wear them at the convention, you might want to secure it to your head in order for them to stay put throughout all of the day. But if you're just taking photos or if your head hurts a lot, you don't have to. Now, second way to put on a wig and wig cap. You want to braid your hair. You can use any type of braid. You can do French braids, you can do normal, regular braids. You just want to braid your hair and pin the braids to your head. I didn't have any bobby pins or clips, so I just kept it together with my hand. You can also do that. And then you want to put on a wig cap the same way you did previously. This way we're gonna use two wig caps. I usually use two, but I've been told that some people get migraines from that, so you need to check what you're comfortable with. You don't want to pass out in cosplay, it's very humiliating and you don't want to do this. You don't want to overheat, you don't want your head to explode. Be safe in your cosplays. I put on a sock type of wig cap because I wanted to flatten out the braids as much as I could. There is also one theatrical way that I've seen in the vlog from Defying Gravity. I think it's called the pin curl method or snail method. You basically make little snails from your hair and you pin them, every single one of them, to your head. And that's how you create the flattest look possible. And that's what they use in theaters on Broadway, so you might want to try this. But the ways I showed you are the ones that I use for most of my wigs. Do whatever you want with this information. So now that you know what wigs are, where to buy good quality wigs, how do you know if a wig is good quality, and how do you wear them, now you need to know how to take care of them. Wigs come in those little plastic baggies covered with hairnet, with a little bit of tissue paper stuffed in the head of them, and that's how wigs are delivered to their owners. But do you need to keep them in there? I do. I don't know anyone who doesn't. If a wig is unstyled, you can safely keep it in the same way it was delivered to you, because I think that's the safest way to keep the wig in the same shape all through its lifespan.
A few moments later.
The sun has set and the light was gone, so I had to turn on the overhead lighting. And now I will have to learn color correction just for this video. Thanks! Now I would like to tell you a little bit more about brushing wigs, because that's what most people struggle with when they get their first wigs. What you want to do with your tangled wig is spray it with a little bit of the holy grail of wig styling, the silicone. Or you can just brush it through without the silicone, but it will be a little bit harder. You want to start at the tips of the hair and then gradually transfer to higher and higher parts of the wig when the lower parts are already tangled. You don't want to brush from the roots down, because it will only make the tangles worse. If you encounter a knot that you can't really get through, try brushing underneath it first to loosen it up a little, and then try to gradually brush it. It's a very tedious process, it's very time consuming, it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it because then you have detangled wigs. As you can see, my first wig was very easy to brush because it was not as tangled, but the second wig was a little bit of a struggle. You can section the hair in order to brush it, and you can also use some heat. Heat on wigs is an entirely different topic, and I will cover it in my next video. But you can use your flat iron in order to make your work with detangling wigs a little bit easier. Because if you flatten out the hair that you've already detangled, it won't get tangled as easily. You want to work in sections and get rid of the bigger knots first, and then go onto the smaller knots. So you want to work with the wide teeth comb first and with narrow teeth comb second. And you do this on the whole wig, from the tips to the roots. And yeah, you just chill with your wig. You play a movie, maybe take some snacks, maybe some drinks, and you spend hours and hours brushing through your wigs. And that's my life. I hope you liked this video. I hope I explained some of the things that I do to my wigs. Next video I will cover some topics like straightening the wig, or curling the wig, and maybe even dyeing the wig. Maybe. But that's it for today. If you have any questions regarding wigs, just ask them away. I always read through all of the comments, and I also try to reply to all of them. If you have any advice or suggestions for beginner YouTubers like me, also leave them down there. And if you want to support my channel and my costumes, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi for early access to these videos, to photoshoot material, to behind the scenes material, and other rewards. Also check out my social media, they're always in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!